Hello and welcome back to the Cesspool podcast, where we talk about everything and anything, no matter how disgusting or offensive. This is our ninth episode, and we'll still be introducing ourselves. I'm your co-host Tyler, with my other co-host Joseph.
Today we'll be talking about hackers, no Vaseline, PS5, and Nintendo. The first topic of today's episode is the Colonial Pipeline hacker DarkSide says it will be shutting operations. So this one's a quite long article and topic. Pretty much the criminal group linked with all these cyber attacks against the gasoline delivery um, has actually made a big issue, but recently, or this week, it has been told that these hacking associates are shutting down, or the organization is shutting down, according to the security research firms. A website operated by ransomware group DarkSide, which the U.S. officials have said they believe originates in Eastern Europe, has been down since Thursday. DarkSide has told associates it has lost access to the infrastructure it uses to run its operation and would be closing, citing disruption from a law enforcement agency and pressure from the U.S. Um, according to the security firm FireEye and Intel 471. So pretty much, they're disbanding. A lot of the people are assuming that they're gonna kind of rejoin under a different name,
Hmm.
since that's very common for these hacker groups to do. And a lot of people are assuming that these groups have been growing by recruiting these affiliates or hackers who will penetrate online networks of business or public institutions with whom it works to disrupt operations. So pretty, yeah, security researchers say. So they've been like kind of, I'm assuming what that means is they're getting these hackers to get into the inside of these, networks so they can like kind of steal money from them.
Hmm.
Apparently, these dark side criminal efforts brought in at least $60 million in the first 7 months of the operation, with 46 million of it coming in the first quarter of 2021, according to the blockchain research from Chainalysis. I don't know, because that company has an incomplete picture of the dark side's activities. The ransomware gang total haul has likely been larger, the company said. A lot of these authorities assume that this group is being spearheaded or funded, or at least being supported by an enemy government. So, do you believe that it is, being supported by an enemy government or by,
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
So that's a hard question, right? Because
yeah.
honestly, when they say that, they're talking about basically three possible countries. They're talking about Russia, China, or North Korea. That's basically what they're saying. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we're honest, the U.S. doesn't have like okay, we have tensions with a lot of countries, but the only ones that probably have the resources are those three to be able to fund an operation like this. And yeah, I can. I mean, I can see it being possible, but that starts falling into possible conspiracy theory kind of like stuff, in my opinion, because there's a lot of people who are smart enough to take down, you know, there's a lot of hackers and people who are smart enough to take down large infrastructure these days because a lot of it is aging, in in my opinion.
Can you say that again? Sorry, you cut out a little bit actually on my side.
Well, I was basically saying that like for a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with the idea that it could be from another government, uh,
Mm-hmm.
because it's entirely. I mean, when they're talking about an enemy government, they're talking about basically Russia or China, or I guess they could say North Korea, because those is probably. I mean, we have other enemies, but they more likely. I mean, the Middle East. Uh, they debatably have the resources to fund something like that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they have the oil, yes, but I don't know. I don't really see it being possible, in my opinion. I mean, it is possible, I guess, but I wouldn't claim that.
Mm.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
that it's
to
not enough
be
evidence.
to yeah, to be honest, from what they're saying, like this group called Darkside is stealing a lot of money from these gasoline delivery area things, right?
Yeah,
Which I mean, I guess that's important for the government, but I feel like that's so like I don't know. Like I don't feel like these hackers are specifically doing that for a government. Like why would like they should be hacking into like intelligence groups. Like that makes more sense, you know?
right.
Like cuz recent like it's not recently, but a while back I read an article on that actually where the government like the US government found out that the Russian government has actually uh put like a malware or like some kind of program inside the CIA so that like they can kind of get some information from them.
Hmm.
So like that makes more sense than having this criminal organization you know be like helped by some enemy government just to steal some money.
Yeah, it that makes no. Yeah, exactly. You would assume that they would be going for, intelligence, honestly, because if you're going against, if you're trying to attack a country's, government, or if you're,
Mhm.
because that's what the other country is. They don't really care about the common people in the country. That's not their concern. So why would
Mhm.
they go after something that literally only affects the common people? Because let's be honest, the U.S. government has a steady, the U.S. government, the U.S. military, whatever, they have a steady supply of fuel. This is not something that would affect them at all. You know, I mean, this is something that would only affect regular Americans. It has no
Yeah.
effect on the government, and that's all that hostile governments care about.
Mhm. Yeah, so like and also like if some people might, argue like, oh, this is a lot of money that the government, an enemy government can use. But I can't see like an enemy government solely attacking a another nation just specifically for money, right? That doesn't seem like a possibility, right? Because
Yeah,
like in the history of, the world or world history in general, it's very rare that they fight solely to take money from that government, right?
right.
The
Yeah,
only
that's
the only the only person that likes profit during war are, arms dealers and weapon sellers, pretty much people
yeah,
lobbyists.
manufacturers.
Yeah, so like it doesn't make sense for this group to be a masterminded behind by a enemy, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't I don't see it.
because honestly, when you get down to it, in terms of like like to a government, that's a very insignificant. $60 million is kind of an insignificant amount of money when we're talking about a major world power like Russia or like China. It's just no, or the Middle East in that case. They have a ton of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I highly doubt that this group is, you know, like I don't know how some people think this, but apparently, like some of the FBI like agents like are saying like, it might be a possibility, and obviously they obviously know more than us, right?
Yeah.
In some of these things, but I like from what the information from what we have or the information that they let us have, it seems very unlikely that it's run by a enemy like an enemy government.
Hmm.
The because what they're saying, right, is that apparently this group Dark Side was a very small and like very like unknown like group until like recently, and their like growth has become like exponentially bigger. Like they like their growth is insane, right? From like being nothing to being a prominent threat to like business in America.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
It's
it doesn't make any sense. That's kind of, you know, that's
mhm,
it. The amount of money, it doesn't work. It's not realistic. Basically, it's kind of, it strays into conspiracy theory
yeah,
stuff, in my opinion. I don't think it's really even fair. I, I mean, obviously, there could be information that we aren't getting,
yeah,
and that the government, doesn't want to share with us for whatever reason. They have plenty of
mhm,
that, so I get it, I guess, but
mhm,
they shouldn't just basically be claiming that kind of thing, or even hinting at it without there really being any realistic evidence or anything that would point to it. And I know they're not even
mhm.
naming names, but when they say hostile government, they're basically talking about Russia and China at this point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah. Because like if you think about it, those countries don't need money.
no,
There's
yeah,
no need.
exactly. They don't.
They
It's in that's
unless
in
they're talking about. I mean, I guess terrorist groups like ISIS and people can use that funding, but I highly doubt that they are spearheading hackers, right?
Yeah,
Like
especially in
I feel like that's.
in Europe. If they're saying it's from Europe, I mean,
Mhm,
technically, because there were a lot of Eastern European uh, people who ended up being linked to terrorist groups, or that are linked to terrorist groups. But like, eh, it's not. It's likely just a bunch of guys who, they're very smart. They're good with computers, and they're like, hey, we can make a lot of money. Why don't we just do that? There's
mhm,
lots of people out there who are willing to do a lot to make money, and this is a lot of money for a common person. So,
mhm.
and it
Yeah,
sucks because we have to deal with rising gas prices, which is annoying, obviously.
yeah. We gotta switch to a different source of energy because this is ridiculous.
We do
I mean,
honestly need.
Japan is actually moving towards electric cars. Like I think
Mm-hmm,
what they did was they said that it's mandatory for like like cars in their country to be all electric by in like couple of years, and
mm-hmm.
they're giving like that buffer year almost to a leeway for like car manufacturers, car owners to kind of sell their cars and kind of buy
Well,
electric
yeah,
cars.
it's because of the pollution
Hmm.
in that area. Yeah. Also, well, here's the thing, that would never work in America, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
But
it's way too big. It's way too
America, yeah,
big.
it's too
It's
big. It's
America.
too many people.
I mean, too many people. And I like
It's too
Tesla.
spread out.
Like Tesla is like yeah, it's too because Tesla is like the spearhead of electric cars,
Hmm.
and everyone or the ones that can afford it will try to buy it, right? Which
Yeah, but
means that Tesla can
the majority of people cannot, and that's the problem.
yeah. Yeah, that, and I mean, there are electric cars for like different countries. I mean, not different companies now. Like they're making new electric cars for other from other brands, but it's like
They're
they're also
still
equally
right.
expensive. So it's hard.
And that honestly does come down to the fact that electric cars are expensive to produce, because you're producing a lithium ion battery, which costs a lot of
Hmm.
money, and then you have to basically design it from the ground up. And now I heard that Ford is actually going to be releasing an electric F-150 pickup truck, which is kind
Hmm.
of interesting because I don't know how competitive this is going to be to the Cybertruck. I honestly don't think anything is competitive to the Cybertruck because
Hmm.
the Cybertruck. I'm sorry, Cybertruck lovers, but it's a joke. Literally everybody thinks it's a joke.
I'm confused why he made it look like that. That's my
Well,
question.
there are other like utility issues that a lot of people have with it. Like the
Hmm.
actual truck bed is pretty small. It's very like the actual vehicle is very large and wide, so it's
Hmm.
kind of impractical as a pickup truck. Where
Yeah.
if like what I saw is that Ford is literally just taking the regular F-150, which is the best-selling pickup truck in the United States, and making it electric. And that I can
Yeah, and I'm
guarantee
looking.
that's gonna sell.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at the Cybertruck, right? It looks like a 5-year-old kid drew it and then they made it into a real car. There's no side mirrors either. What? How do you
Oh
use
yeah, I
this car?
forgot about that.
There's no side. I've seen somebody drive this, by the way. Like I was driving and I saw somebody have this,
It must have been a
and it looks.
prototype because they are not released yet.
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
think.
Like I've no, because I've seen it. Like driving on a highway.
Uh huh.
So yeah, I've definitely seen this, and it just looks ridiculous. It's so
Oh, it
stupid.
does. I mean, and everybody's talked about this, so
Like
it's beating
I
a dead
like
horse. But
I like Elon. You don't, but I like Elon, and this is one of his big blunders that he has made.
everybody, I mean, it doesn't matter if you like him or not. Everybody doesn't like this. It really doesn't. I mean,
Yeah,
like it was such an
because
oops.
I think yeah, I think because he is like he wants to be like that bringer of the future, right? And I think he kind of jumped the gun a little bit,
Yeah.
trying to go full futuristic, and it just looks too funny.
And you know what the other issue is that like I don't really understand what the market of the Cybertruck is because it's gonna be very expensive, and people who own a pickup truck don't want it to be expensive because they beat the crap out of it and they sell it or it dies and they buy a new one, and that's kind of how pickup trucks work. That's why something like an F-150 or a Chevy Silverado or whatever, that's why those things sell because they're fairly cheap, they're reliable, they're very easy to fix, and you could just buy another one when it dies and it won't cost a fortune. Like I can guarantee because of the materials it's made out of and because it's electric, like the Cybertruck is going to be expensive. So
Yeah.
like I don't get it. I really just don't get it. And then like add on that it's actually not that like practical as a pickup truck, which is the literal market. I can see like something like the electric F-150 really just kind of ruining that market for the Cybertruck. I mean, I think a
Mm.
lot of other pickup trucks are going to do that because I know Chevy is talking about like going all electric soon, which is going to be funny. Honestly, like when the big car companies start going electric, I think that's when Tesla might struggle because I can guarantee they're going to be more affordable. It's kind of going to be like what the Model T was, back in the early 1900s. Like it was the affordable everyman's car, and that's why Ford
Mm.
sold like 50 million of them or whatever. or like you said, Japan, like a Japanese, like if Toyota makes an actually okay looking electric car, that's like affordable. If they make like an electric Toyota Corolla, like Jesus Christ, and it's like priced reasonably, yeah, no, bye bye, that'll win. It's got the
Hmm.
brand recognition. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
it's also yeah. Like I've seen a lot of like because one of my friends was like he used to be on my swim team. His dad is like a construction worker,
Right.
and he has like the Ford pickup truck.
Yeah.
So it like it's iconic, right? There's no way you can outbeat an icon like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Everybody knows, like, oh, it's a Ford. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's going to do the job. It's been doing it for 70, 80 years. Like they know how to make a pickup truck. We don't know that Tesla actually knows how to make a pickup truck yet. It's it has not proved itself in the market,
Hmm.
and that's I guess what we'll see when it comes out. I know people. There are some people who are like legitimately excited for it. I don't get it, but like, you know, you do you. Whatever. I don't see it. I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, it's
Let's go to the let's go to
yeah.
the
That
next question.
we really
We went off track completely.
yeah.
The next question is, what do you think about the whole idea about criminal hacking organizations saying it will shut down? Do you really believe it's, quote unquote dead? Because like a lot of
No,
people are assuming it's gonna, come back and stuff.
I can imagine that, or it may not come back in its original form, but like one of the guys with all the experience and the code and whatever from the previous company is going to go to another group of guys and say, let's try something similar but different, and I know that this works because I did this. So I can imagine something similar might happen with similar people involved, maybe separately, maybe the same team, I don't know. But yeah, sure, of course. What do you think?
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like, dude, honestly, the first time I read this article, it's like, what is this? It's like this car is like, no, fucking, I'm so dumb.
Car.
The whole hacker, the whole hacker thing, right? It kind of reminds me of like a movie, right? In a way that it's like yeah, this criminal hacker group is like it has to break apart, but it comes back later as a newer but better and a different name as well.
Hmm.
It kind of reminds me of a movie-esque like enemy, right? Or bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I do think it's gonna come back. Like, I don't see why they would just, like, I don't think they're gonna give up, especially if they're racking in for like $60 million in like 7 months. There's no way these people are just gonna be like, all right, guess I'm done with the criminal life. Like, like they're gonna definitely reorganize and kind of find a way to kind of take out the people that they think is unfit for their new group and kind of come back harder and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can yeah, I can 100% see them coming back in another form. It's kind of guaranteed. You're gonna get the
Yeah.
same. I mean, it's the same thing with companies. If a company goes under, you might have one of the top executives or the creator like create another business. I mean, that's kind of what happened when Steve Jobs got kicked out of Apple. He just started another company. Didn't work
Yeah, but
out,
it
but
wasn't very good.
yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't work out.
No,
But
but I think criminal organizations are a bit different from, like,
oh, I know. I was just making an
because,
analogy.
no, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because it's like it's hard to kind of rebuild, but I don't even think this group is rebuilding. I think it's just copy and paste under a new name, right? It's just like, yeah, we're quote unquote disbanding, and then they just get everyone that they've been working with, and just be like, all right, we're no longer dark side, but we're gonna function just like what we used to be, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Actually,
Hmm.
anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to the next article because this is more of our
it's not even an
friends
article.
and
There's no
yeah.
article here. It's just news.
There's no article. It's just news. Yeah. So the Novas or Novaseline podcast has released its new content.
Yeah,
There's
season
not much
one.
of a summary that is needed. Those who have not seen it, you should definitely watch it. It's an experience, definitely.
And yeah,
So
you
yeah,
could watch our interview,
yeah, you can
episode
watch our
4.
interview. Hell yeah! Shout out for our own episode. Yeah,
Yeah,
we talked to the host or the quote unquote CEO or
owner, whatever.
leader. It's hard to label him because he works with other people, right? And he says it's more like a family.
Mm.
But yeah, so he kind of spearheads that entire operation and. Yeah, we interviewed him a couple episodes ago. So if you guys are interested, you guys can go see that. But
Sure.
yeah, what are your thoughts on the new content? We talked about it off camera, off the record, but I
Yeah,
need to talk about
it's interesting because I remember when I was first told about this, and I was really interested because to me, as someone who has been making videos on and off as a hobby for the past 5 or 6 years, like I'm always curious to see what other people can do. Because I don't see a lot of people, at least from our area, like legitimately making like content on like something similar to a YouTube channel, which is what they're doing at least right now with No
it.
Vaseline. So I was really
Yeah,
curious to see, like technically, just because that's just the way my mind works. I like to see like the technicals of things, but I'm also curious
yeah,
about the creativity, obviously. and there is a lot of creativity here. Like from what we saw so far,
Yeah.
they have like a lot of different shows that they're doing. So they're starting off branching out into a bunch of different things, which can be very good in a way, right? Because
Hmm.
you're starting off branching into a bunch of different markets. Not to mention that they had been doing a lot of marketing on social media, so
Yeah.
they already had a jump start that a lot of
Hmm.
people knew about this going in, which is a
Yeah.
good thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. While you're the person to bring, good news and good vibes, I'm gonna be the harbinger of bad news. So for the no Vaseline thing, it was great. I liked it actually. The vibe, the entire mood of it was good.
right,
I
yeah,
just
and
felt like
I
I
just
felt like when they were holding one topic, like obviously for us, our podcasts are kind of try to it veers off of course sometimes, right? But I felt like theirs was very split and fragmented. I felt like Aiden should have taken more control in that sense,
as a
and kind
host,
of, yeah, as a host, which he kind of did at in the end, where he was trying to get a question out of Jerome and somebody kept interrupting him and he kept on saying, yeah, but I want to listen to what Jerome had to say. So I think that's a good move that he did. I think he should do that, especially when he has guests like that and he's like one of the few hosts. Like me and you are two hosts that usually bring in one guest,
right,
but I'm assuming he's like the main host and everyone else is kind of there to kind of speak of their own ideas, right?
right,
So he organizes most of the stuff. So when that happens, I feel like he should kind of control that stage of the stage of attention, right? Kind of get everyone to follow the timeline or script, and kind of get a proper structure rather than just being like, we're going to just talk about girls and then it veers off onto something else completely, right?
right.
I feel like, yeah. So Aiden, if you're listening, I liked your episode. It was pretty good. I like your chaotic vibe. It's actually quite refreshing compared to ours or other podcasts. But
Right,
you should definitely write at least like a rough
like
set of
outline,
questions
which
or
like
outlines. Yeah.
mhm,
Like you don't need to write a full blown script where everyone has to memorize like lines or whatever, but you should definitely have like segments and sections for your podcast. It really helps kind of flow your content.
right.
And also yeah, also make sure to try to use those mics that you're clipping onto your bra, cuz it felt like you weren't talking into it. It sounded like you were kind of recorded through the what's it called, the GoPro or whatever camera you're using. So if you need help, I'm pretty sure Tyler actually knows a couple stuff like that. So
Yeah, I did find I do have to say I did find it kind of interesting because I was kind of enamored by like the setup because I think like honestly the set itself, right, like
mhm.
like the actual
It
set
was
that they're recording in,
amazing.
yeah, no, it's really cool and like it's pretty well done in my opinion. um but I did find it really interesting because they had it where like you guys had it where you had like boom mics, which is good, and then you also had the clip-on mics, but then it sounded like you were using neither of them, and I was like,
Yeah.
it
So
was just interesting. I don't know if like maybe there was like an audio issue, or maybe it
or
was
a
just the
technical
episode.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it was just the episode that we watched, and like the other ones because I briefly watched a couple of the ones that came out after the original episode, and it seemed like it
Mhm.
did improve. So maybe there was just an issue with that first episode, but I did find it very strange because like the audio quality like I thought was going to be better considering the equipment you were using. And again, I'm not really blaming anybody for this. It easily could have been a technical issue or a misunderstanding or whatever. But I did not. I found it very interesting. Um, but yeah, like from it, I I really did kind of like it. It was like you said, it's like refreshing. It,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
topics that were talked about, like you did mention, it was kind
Mhm.
of like I don't know if maybe that was the point where it was like supposed to be pretty. I mean, chaotic, which
Like,
I
yeah.
get is the
Or all
energy
over.
like of what you're talking
No,
about.
yeah, I like, well, because his
Well,
his whole I think brand was it's free flowing and it's not, it's not planned. It's kind of, it's free spirited, which
Right.
I get, Aiden, that it's great to market it that way and to have it that way, but sometimes it's great to at least have a loose
Eh,
sections for everything.
mhm.
Not only does it help it flow even better, it can even look more free spirited if you do it that way, rather than kind of interjecting and cutting people off. Since that, rather than being free spirited, it sounds just more like you guys don't know what you're doing, which clearly you guys know what you're doing because you guys bought really good equipment. You guys have like really good like guests or people to talk to, especially Jerome, who was, the to be honest, funniest person in that episode in my
Yeah,
opinion.
definitely.
Um,
And that's probably just
yeah,
like bias, but I don't know. I always
yeah,
find him really funny. Um, yeah, I was gonna say, like, honestly, I could imagine that they probably have a script, or not a script, but like an outline of what they want to talk about. Let's, bullet points, this. It could easily be something similar to what we do, but you get talking and you get off topic and you don't realize that 20 minutes have gone by. And I think at that point it does become important, like, to like manage your time a little bit better. And honestly,
mhm,
it's the first episode. Everybody has issues, everybody makes mistakes. I'm not,
yeah,
I don't think anybody was expecting, like like it to be perfect. This is the peak of what we can
yeah,
do. So
yeah,
I expect that it's going to get better and better as it goes along. But just from
yeah.
episode one, which I guess isn't fair to judge, but
Yeah, we're just trying to spitball ideas for you, man. Because I know, you've worked a ton, invested a ton, so we wanted to give our own insight, albeit that we're a smaller, channel or whatever.
right.
I feel like we can give you some ideas. For example, like instead of just talking about girls, you should talk about like couple topics rather than just one over like umbrella general topic,
And
since it's
yeah,
really hard to because let's say, like, for example, if me and Tyler were talking about cars just in general, it's really hard to like encompass that whole idea, and it's so general. Like, you can talk almost whatever you want on that kind of topic. It's so rather than just saying cars, like, you should like kind of shorten it to a couple specific topics. Like three specific topics would be great. For example, Aiden, let's say you like wanted to talk about girls, you can like specifically choose, like, oh, have you guys ever met like a bitchy girl, and like what was your experience with those like girls? That's a good topic. That's, it's kind of loose, yet it's, specific enough for
it's an
people to
open-ended
stay
question
on topic.
basically.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my opinion. Obviously, Aiden, you don't need to take any of our advice. We're all just, being good friends here. I just wanted to give you my idea. I hope you can kind of fix some of your audio, which I actually, what Tyler does is before he actually records, he checks our audio and checks if our mics are working. So before you
Mhm.
like actually record a video and then see at the very end, like, oh, the audio didn't work, guess we have to revert to something else. Because that's what I'm assuming happened. So instead of that, you should kind of record like 3 seconds of what you guys are talking about, like before you actually start the episode, and then check if the audio is working on the boom mic, the clip on mic, or whatever mic you're using.
Right. And I mean, we don't want to like assume that you're not doing that kind of a thing, but like clearly something did happen, and or I don't know. It's I don't want to we don't want to make it seem like we're assuming that you're not doing things, or you're not checking stuff or whatever. We're just
Hmm.
kind of like reaffirming stuff, I guess, like as far as the technical side of things are concerned. You know,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Honestly, I like to kind of sum up my personal thoughts of it. I think it's good. I think it's a great start. You got like a lot of great personalities involved with it, which I think is really important, because people come to this stuff like for the personalities and for what this person thinks about whatever you're talking about. It's not necessarily what you're talking about. It's what the it's like having interesting people um, talk
On
about
that show.
that. Yeah, talking about that topic, because it's
Yeah.
people want to know what this person thinks about it just because of their
Hmm.
character.
Yeah.
So yeah, ultimately, like you have the foundation and you have a good start, and honestly, like it shows a lot of potential for even more growth. So you should honestly just continue reaching higher and higher, and that's what you need to do. You got to work out the kinks, and then you're really going to be golden, in my opinion.
hmm Oh yeah, get instead of I know it's been the first episode, but I just wanted to tell you don't bring in the same person over and over again. Like you can have reoccurring guests. That's that's very normal and common for podcasters.
Or
But I
sometimes they have
think
like a
bring in
wingman. There's sometimes a
yeah, or a
wingman.
wingman. Yeah, yeah. But I know Aiden, you like stories and very getting everyone's experience on your channel. So you should bring in other people other than your friends, people that outside of your comfort zone almost, right? Kind of get people from different backgrounds so that you can they can you can get their side of a specific story or all kinds of stuff. And I think for now I think you're doing really well because like marketing wise, dude, you're doing amazing. Getting all
Yeah,
the hype for your podcast is not an easy thing. So yeah, I give you props for that.
yeah. And I know it seems like we're talking like directly to to Aiden, who's the owner, but like
Yeah.
uh
No, we're just talking about like in general for
yeah,
people who do podcasting or but it's yeah, we're kind of talking to Aiden or
talking in
like,
the second
down
person.
yeah, because it's easier for us to, direct at
Yeah.
somebody than
And
just being
he
like
might watch it.
if
He
you're
might
doing
watch
it.
this. He might not watch it. So it's better to direct and it's to
Yeah.
I
Yeah, plus
directly
he
yeah.
has a bigger following than, other people or people we know that do
Right.
podcasting. So I think he's gonna pick up on some advice that we tell him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be moving on to the next topic, which is gaming. That's
Gaming.
Tyler's side.
It do be gaming time. So, funny. It's really not funny, but interesting turn of events that happened over the past day or two. So the other day, at a Target in Wisconsin, um, a man was being physically assaulted by four other individuals over a pack of or a pack of trading cards. I don't know if they were like Pokemon cards or baseball cards or whatever. They were these guys were literally like starting to assault this man, and the guy pulled a gun on them, and the store went into lockdown. The store was luckily nobody was injured in the actual encounter. Like there were no shots fired, anything like that. But Target afterward they announced that they will end the physical retail sale of Pokemon cards and other trading cards in their retail stores. And right after that, meaning I believe it was today at the recording of this, Walmart announced that they have no plans to end the sales of the sales of trading cards, Pokemon cards, whatever, at their retail locations. So what do you think about this issue? Like this new security threat involving like this incredibly high demand of trading cards, Pokemon cards in particular.
It's kind of funny. I don't know. The Target has announced that. Yeah. I mean, why? But why would they end sales for? Bro, I bought my Pokemon cards from Target. That's so sad. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I get it because there's been like this Pokemon card like resurgence of popularity again, especially because they realize like you can. It's like the lottery in the sense where you like buy a pack, and then you like hope you get a rare one so that you can get it rated by the official rating card companies, and
yeah,
then get it back, and then you can get
sell.
because if you get like a 10 for a really rare card, you can like sell it for a ton of money.
Right,
Like the rare Charizard card like sells for like over 100K. So it's or lower. I don't know honestly, but it's
a lot of
ridiculous.
money. Yeah, for a
Yeah,
piece of
so
paper.
I think people realize that and they're like it's a dumb kids game or kids trading cards game. So it would be easier to steal that. Um,
Right.
I think that's kind of the issue with Pokemon cards is like from the outsider's perspective, Pokemon cards are just, kid stuff, and I don't understand why it's 1,000 or, a lot of money. So if they want to get a lot of money, they're just gonna be like, yeah, I'll just steal some, kids' cards and just see if it's expensive or not, right?
I mean, this guy though was an adult
Pull the gun.
man. Yeah, he pulled a gun in a Target because he was being physically assaulted by four people over a pack of trading cards. So, like, I mean, there has been this kind of craze this past year over trading cards because of, like you said, these rare drops and everything. Uh, like people wanting to legitimately make money off of this when it's really not like actually a good business idea. But like,
hmm
I get why Target is doing it. I do. I don't know like if it's really
I think
worth it
I think
though.
the issue I think the issue is, well, it's like the same thing in all of like the incidents of humanity. It's like if 1% of the population does something ridiculous, like it ruins for it gets ruined for everyone,
Right.
right? It's like this one idiot decided to get a gun and just try to rob Pokemon cards.
No, that's
And
not what
then,
happened. That's not what happened. You're getting the wrong idea.
wait, what did he do?
So
What
the
did he
guy with
do?
the gun, he wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He legally purchased the cards, and these
Okay.
four guys like tried assaulting him, and then he pulled a gun on them. So he
So it has
wasn't.
nothing to do with Pokemon cards.
Well,
Or
it's
these four
trading
people,
cards.
were they trying to steal it?
Yeah, they were
Were
trying
they
to.
trying to steal it?
I don't know exactly what.
That's even more sad. All right. So for I don't know. I don't think that's the guy's fault then.
No,
If
no,
it's
I'm
like,
not. I don't think Target was directly blaming the guy with the gun, but like the idea that that much violence broke out over trading cards is just kind of concerning.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, hmm. I guess like as a security measure, sure. I mean, it's not like they're. It's not like you can't get Pokemon cards at other places. Uh, I don't know how great of a business. I don't know how much money Target makes on Pokemon cards, but
I think Target isn't gonna do this permanently either, because it doesn't make sense to do
that's
that,
true. That's true.
Because let's say, because I know kids still like Pokemon cards and adults like it too, especially since the resurgence of popularity for this thing. It makes no sense to kind of alienate or say that they're not gonna pay or sell this thing when, especially like, there's a bigger target audience now for those
Right.
things. It makes no sense for them to do that business wise. I think this is more of like a PR stunt, being like, yeah, we're morally high, so we're gonna not make
We're doing it for the safety of the people.
yeah, and then it's gonna be like a couple months later they're gonna reinstate it, like be like, yeah, we're selling it again because you know it's good and whatever. I don't know.
I don't know.
They'll
I
find a
mean,
way.
yeah. And then Walmart says that they have no plans to end sales of Pokemon cards or trading
Of
cards in
course they
general.
don't.
I
Because it
mean,
sells amazing. And people buy it from
yeah,
freaking Walmart or Target. And now Walmart has one less competitor for
right.
that specific thing.
Yeah,
Not only that, there's no reason to do this. Like, yeah, there's one guy who pulled a gun on somebody that was robbing him for Pokemon cards. But this, if it was any other like item, I highly doubt like these people like Target would, like you say they're going to discontinue their sell like
yeah, it's
vendorship
true.
or
I can
selling.
imagine like if someone was trying to steal like a chair from Target.
hmm
No. If like the same situation would happen where like a guy was like he purchased like a brand new chair from Target
hmm
and four guys came up and started assaulting him over this chair. I don't think Target would just stop selling chairs.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I think Target felt like it was a good way to use this one specific item that they felt is insignificant to kind of show like, yeah, we're good
It's
guys,
better. It's
and
good PR.
yeah, it's good pure. I think that's why. And it's like there's no need to do this for a 1% population of crazy psychopaths You know, like these four dudes are trying to steal trading card games to attack this guy is literally compared to the billions and billions of children and adults that buy Pokemon cards. This is nothing. It's like the percentage is so low. Nobody would, you know, in their right mind would do this. So there's no need practically to do this. If it was like a million, like over a million cases of this, then yeah, it raises a concern. But
Right.
this is just four dudes. Like that's just an idiot. Like you
Yeah,
don't need to isolate Pokemon cards like that. That doesn't make sense business wise and practicality wise.
it is definitely strange. I would say Walmart uh, definitely made the smart choice by just not doing anything about it. Because honestly, not only is it none of their concern, I'm very surprised that people legitimately were like concerned that Walmart might stop selling them, and that Walmart had to go out and confirm that no, we're not discontinuing the sale of Pokemon or other trading cards at their retail locations. Like this was big. This was literally the top story on one of these game websites, that freaking Walmart is not ending the sale of Pokemon cards. That's how big of a deal this is to people, apparently. Like,
Yeah.
I, honestly, so my other question is, do you think that this in any way could damage the image of the trading card community or Pokemon in general?
Well, from the social climate or the social media in general, yeah, it's definitely gonna, stain Pokemon cards or the Pokemon cards, what is it,
Like,
community.
yeah,
I don't know, it's like these small incidents of like the one loud 1%
right.
of like a specific community ruins it for everyone, and especially on like Twitter, like it becomes like a massacre. Like anyone that likes Pokemon go like they just get harassed now. Like I'm assuming it's because Twitter is so, I don't know. Twitter's so full of like these self-righteous people that like to kind of get the moral high ground, so they just decide to attack people they think is wrong.
Yeah,
Especially like for example racism, right? If we were talking about racism, like like these Twitter people would, if you were had an opposite like opinion, for example, they like the what's it called, all men are rapists or whatever argument, where like a dude would say like not all men are racist, and they're gonna like attack that guy and kind of use things that they fought for, like don't use stereotypical stuff, and like don't and like attack people with those stereotypical terms, right? Like they're gonna use that against somebody that they think is against their quote unquote righteous movement. So
yeah,
it's very hypocritical in Twitter, and I'm not saying like everyone on Twitter is, but a lot of them are because they want to feel like they're the right, and I don't know. They
yeah.
just
No, you're 100% right. It's very silly. The whole situation is very silly, and I think it's kind of been blown out of proportion. Listen, like if the guy ended up like actually shooting someone, and like we there was a casualty or a serious injury, okay, you know what? You can talk about it a little bit more, but this is being completely blown out of proportion. And yeah, it will 100% damage like the reputation of the community. People like might legitimately say like, "Oh my god, you like Pokemon cards, but you a psycho."
I don't know. It's so annoying to have like these 1% kind of be seen as like a representation of the entire community. It's like always it's always like how do I say this, the group that doesn't like people overgeneralizing a specific group, right? Like that kind of stand for um like anti-racism and all that, right? Which is like anti overgeneralization or stereotypical, ideas, right?
Yeah,
Like they put upon that stereotype onto another community once that 1% does something. For example, if I said all Asian people suck at driving, right? Then like the Twitter people, if I was white, would or like black or like other than Asian, they would freak out and be like, "You're racist" or you whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but then when those groups see another like this saw four people kill like attack another person for Pokemon cards, they're gonna assume that all Pokemon cards collectors are psychos that would kill people for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, that's what I don't like. So Twitter, I hate you.
That's a fair complaint.
Yeah.
Twitter,
Uh
Twitter do be kind of cringe.
yeah. Uh you want you can we can go to the next question if you want.
Right. Yes. Next. So PlayStation 5. There's always news about the PlayStation 5. It's still out of stock. You can't buy it. It is more valuable than gold itself.
Is that
And
actually like really
no,
rare now?
no. Yeah.
No, like I'm talking
Literally.
about like hard to get.
Yeah. You cannot buy one of these things. You haven't been able to buy one since they launched. They've just been. If they existed, they were bought
Hmm.
20 minutes before they were produced. Like that is how quickly these things are actually. It's insane.
Why
So
is it getting so much popularity?
because it's PlayStation's best-selling console of all
Wait, yeah,
time.
but let's say PS4. Did they do that as well?
I don't think it was this bad, but we're also
Mhm.
not in the same climate that we were in 2014 or whenever it came out. So, or 2013, I don't know, whenever the PlayStation 4 came out, kind of irrelevant. But not this news is not even about the production issues, which everybody's talked about and everybody complains about all the time. Sony has
Yeah.
revealed that at least that they have 25 first person, sorry, not first person, first party games in development, and that 10 to 12 of these games will be entirely new IPs. And this is a massive undertaking, obviously, to announce all at once. It will no doubt create even more demand for the PS5. Um,
Yeah.
do you see this kind of announcement like as a threat to the competition, specifically Microsoft and Xbox? Because they are the more direct competition compared to Nintendo or something like that.
I don't think so, actually. I mean, yeah, they're creating, artificial demand again. Like other companies do this all the time. So I feel like other companies are well equipped for these kind of moves that because they're enemies, right? They're like competitors
Yeah,
against
they're
each other. So I'm
competitors.
assuming they know like how to kind of beat this, not PR stunt but marketing stunt, right? Where like they have a lack of production of these PS4, which increases the demand for it. I'm
Yeah,
assuming Microsoft and Nintendo knows like this is what they're doing, and they're gonna find a way to kind of steal their thunder or steal that demand or find a way to kind of outbeat them in demand in a sense, right?
yeah,
So I don't feel like they're gonna be like surprised by this because like we saw this coming. Me like all gamers knew PS5 is gonna get really hard to buy. Like it's been a like couple months and a lot of people don't have it.
hmm yeah. I mean, here's the thing though: 25 first party games. Now here's when you look at something like Nintendo, they release maybe two or three first party games a year. They've never announced the amount that they have in development. Neither has Microsoft. And Microsoft does not announce, or it doesn't produce a lot of first party games, uh, basically by studios that they own, or second party games, I guess. Uh, Very often either, or I guess they do, but like they're not very noteworthy. And a lot of times they're
Mhm.
continuations of series, whether that be not Metal Gear, like Gears of War or Halo. That's the same IP that they're doing over and over again. And honestly, it's the same case for Nintendo. They do not make a lot of new IPs. It's always Mario, Zelda, Kirby, whatever. So the fact that 10 to 12, and I want to make it clear, like, yeah, Nintendo, they recently made Splatoon and they recently did ARMS. Yeah, those are two IPs over the past like 6 years or 5 years. Uh, yeah, 5 years, 4.5, 5 years, whatever. Sony is saying they have 10 to 12 new IPs. That's a lot. That's a lot. Um, Now, I'm not. They may not all, be winners, and it's entirely possible. But people are kind of bored of. the same Call of Duty, the same Assassin's Creed, the same Halo, the same Mario over and over and over again. They want something new. And they always complain about it. You know, they always buy the new Call of Duty, but they still complain that they don't have like a brand new experience from like a world that they've never explored before. So the fact that PlayStation is potentially offering this many is gonna make it's gonna be a problem for specifically Microsoft because honestly, Nintendo is in its own little world, making a crap ton of money. Uh,
Hmm.
so I mean the new Xbox it you know it's doing okay. It has the same demand issues as Sony, but that is
Hmm.
also just because of the issues with computer electronics. There's a lack of them right now, so production is kind of slow. Um,
Hmm.
so I personally think it's an issue for Microsoft, not really Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, my next question is: do you think that Sony was being too generous with the amount of games they announced to be in production at once? Like, do you think saying we have 25 games in production is better or worse than saying, oh well, we have 3 to 4 games in production this year or something?
Hmm. I don't know about. I have no comment or like opinion on that. Like I don't know that one. I'm not too sure about.
I mean, I think that was kind of going like, my opinion is kind of, it is pretty much a PR stunt. It's kind of like what you said, actually.
Hmm.
It really does seem like it's a PR stunt to get people
Yeah.
to buy even more PS5s. Not that really that
Like I
matters.
don't know, cause like why are they doing so hard to make
It's a
PS5?
lot. It's a lot of games. It's a lot of games.
Like, dude, it's so dumb. It's honestly retarded. It's like because they know they can't make like proper demand by just being honest and selling. They like make artificial whatever. They like say, "Oh, we got a lot of games" and just all that, and it's kind of cringe.
Well, here's the thing with Sony is that unlike Microsoft,
Hmm.
Microsoft can doesn't really care about Xbox in terms of like their sales. They don't really
Yeah.
care because
Oh,
Microsoft relies on computers and
yeah.
everything else that they make to make them a crap ton of money. Sony
Yeah.
has the opposite problem. They completely rely on PlayStation to make them money. All of their other sectors, whether that be technology, their movie studios, besides Spider-Man, it like they're literally their like golden geese is uh are PlayStation and Spider-Man. That's it. Like
Hmm.
all of their other subsidiaries and companies are really not doing well. They're debatably struggling. So especially their physical like technology. Like nobody buys a Sony TV or a Sony. Well, they do buy Sony cameras, I guess, but like nobody
Hmm.
buys a Sony TV anymore. Really, I don't think they even
Yeah.
make new Sony TVs or like Sony sound system. Like there's other companies for
Hmm.
that now. Sony has fallen out of favor in the majority of the physical hardware electronics game. So they really do legitimately rely on PlayStation for a
Hmm.
lot of their sales. So I honestly think that's why they're so desperate for something like this.
Hmm.
They need the PlayStation 5 to do well. And like PlayStation 4 did really well. PlayStation 3 was kind of a yikes. Uh, obviously the PS2 was the best selling console of all time. PS1 was pretty
Hmm.
good too. uh, so they've had a lot of hits, but back then, like in the PS2 days, they were still a huge like electronics manufacturer for other things other than video games. And now they're running into the issue that they're not. So they're completely reliant on PlayStation to make them their money now. So
Yeah.
I get why they're trying to do all this PR stuff because they need
Hmm.
people to buy a PS5.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, oh, actually, I'm not. I'm going to save my opinion for a second. Next question: do you think Sony will actually live up to that 25 game total? Do you think they're going to actually stick to their word and produce that many
I mean,
games?
I don't. To be honest, no. I don't think so. Because it's not unheard of for companies to promise one thing and not make that promise at all, right?
Right.
It's not, yeah, because like the Sony isn't making a legal contract to make 25. They're just saying, yeah, we'll make 25, and then they're just gonna be like, we made 20 games. It's fine. It's close enough. Because what we can't just be like, yeah, you didn't get 25, so we're gonna take like riot. They're not gonna care if we do anything,
Right.
right? It's like it's nice to do the 25 for Sony because then they get the favor of the customers. Like the customers are gonna be like, yeah, he didn't like lie about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But even if they dropped like from 25 to like 15 or 20 or whatever, right? It to them it doesn't matter because they're gonna still have people buying from them. It's kind of like Nintendo where it's like they've already too big to fail. They're too big to fail. They're already like you said, obviously they have only the PS series and Spider-Man, but like a lot of people buy PS5, the PS4, PS5, the PS series in general, not only for nostalgia but because uh some of the games are on that like have used the PS.
Exclusives. Yeah.
Yeah, they've used the PS series for so long. They're not going to change over to Xbox just because the PS series is lacking a couple games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always been that that console war or like just the gaming setup war in general, like the who's better, the PC, the Xbox, or the PS5, right, or the PS series. So it's like it's not unheard of for somebody that has the PS series get mad about this and then still buy the next series. Like that's not gonna be something unheard of, right? Because like they're gonna stay in their own console that they're familiar with, even if Sony makes a blatant lie like this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. A lot of people don't care. Like they're just gonna be like, oh well, I mean, I got the new God of War. I don't really care about any of the other games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna buy the PlayStation 6. God, Sony's greatest company ever made. I mean, there's a lot of people who are like serious fanboys of PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wouldn't say as much as Nintendo, but like, um, there is clearly a very loyal following to PlayStation, considering they sell over 100 million units on almost all of their consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly they're doing something right. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right, honestly. Like, if they don't live up to that total, which they probably won't, uh,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little ambitious, I'd say, for one studio, especially with that many freaking new IPs. That's a lot of development just in like world creation, and nobody's gonna
Yeah.
care, or they, because they're probably gonna forget that they made this kind of promise. It's just big news right now because it's good PR for the company, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's honestly it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and not only that, all
mhm.
of us like internet has a very short memory. It has like a short term memory loss.
Right,
It's gonna be like, oh my god, Sony's so cool because they're gonna give us 25 new first party whatever, blah blah blah. They're gonna forget about this in like a couple months when they actually get the game,
right,
right? Or they're gonna get the PS5. Like they're gonna forget that this promise has been made. Everyone that uses internet knows this. Like that, like internet is stupid. It doesn't remember the things that other people say, unless it's for cancel culture. Cancel culture brings shit from 5 years ago.
well,
But
that's the
yeah,
point.
yeah. So that's the thing is like I don't think Sony. Obviously, there is gonna be a minority of people that is gonna point out like, hey, they didn't give us 25, 25 actual games, so they lied to us. Most of the PS5, communities just not gonna care. They're gonna be like, that's true, but I got it, so I don't really care that much, right?
Right,
It's
right,
kind of like it's the Switch thing as well. It's like you didn't buy the Switch online, but a lot of people have
yeah,
because it not only is it a necessity for some of the games that they want to play, but it's more fun even if they don't have it. Like it's kind of like it's better than nothing in that sense, right? It's like at least they have that.
right,
So it's that kind of mentality that these game companies are giving to us.
Yeah. Actually, talking about Nintendo, let's just segue right into basically the same news from Nintendo. Nintendo has revealed that they have, quote, many new software titles that will be released this fiscal year, starting in the first quarter, which we think will help continuously expand the range of consumers who play Nintendo Switch to include those who haven't played Nintendo Switch in a while or are completely new players, or completely new users, sorry. This is obviously a huge deal considering that the past year or two have been pretty dry on the
Wait.
Switch.
What are they doing? What are they
They're
doing?
basically announcing that they're actually going to be making new games.
Oh hell yeah!
So this is obviously a huge deal considering that the past year or two have been fairly dry on the Switch in terms of new in-house development. Uh, so what are you? This is just kind of like a nice. This is my last topic, so I thought it would be a nice little one to end on here. What are you hoping Nintendo will be revealing or releasing this year?
So this new game means like new
Completely new
like
game.
series, right? Like a
No,
new character and all that.
no, it doesn't have to. It could be a new Mario game. It could be a new Zelda. It could be a
Oh,
Donkey
then I want a
Kong.
new Kirby game. I want a better, harder new Kirby game, okay? The Kirby game that I got was terrible. It was so boring and it's a child's game. I literally beat it in one day. Make a hard Kirby game, god damn it.
They've never
When I
made
was
a
younger,
hard Kirby game in my life.
no, they have. They have. For some of them they're
Which
actually
one?
pretty hard.
Which one?
Um Damn it. It's the game with the Meta Knight one where you can play as Meta Knight.
You're talking about Return to Dreamland?
I think that's the
That's
one.
not a hard
But yeah,
game. You just haven't played
okay.
it in a while.
No, no. Listen. It is harder than what we have now.
Okay, that's
Like
fair.
that's what I mean. It's like at least because like those games aren't hard. They're just a bit annoying to do. It's like in those games, like in the older Kirby games, they didn't have like they didn't give like everyone an easy difficulty curve. It was kind of challenging for some of the bosses. Like if you died, you learn the patterns again, and you'll beat it on the second try or the third try. So it's not
Right.
a hard game, but it's a bit challenging. So that's what I
Also,
want. It's like at least be a bit challenging rather than like a 10-year-old ooga booga zero brain dumb idiot that can beat this game in like 5 minutes.
I actually to add on to that, can we get a little bit more creativity in the Kirby universe? Because like right now, it's just all Return to Dreamland, but in HD, and I really don't care because I played Return to Dreamland. I don't need
The
another
return
three of them.
is it Return of Dreamland? Let me
Return
look
to
at it.
Dreamland is the one on the Wii. If you're thinking about that, there's like
No. It was on the DS. It was on the
oh, okay.
DS.
Never mind. Oh
The
crap!
DS ones
Nightmare in
I actually
Dreamland.
think
It was
was
called
pretty
Nightmare in Dreamland, right?
Nightmare in Dreamland. I like that one because I could play
That
as
one was
Meta Knight.
good.
That was
You
pretty.
had Canvas Curse was really unique. That was like a
Yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah, yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah.
That
It's
was
Nightmare
great.
in Dreamland. Very epic. I
Nightmare in
love that.
Dreamland is great. Mass Attack was pretty good.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's because Nightmare in Dreamland. I'm pretty sure you can play as Meta Knight, so that's why they thought it was like amazing. Like, wait, hold on. Let's go on a commercial break real quick.
Commercial break.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
What would you do, ma'am?
Oh, I'm waiting for my husband. I can stand here.
Okay, stand there.
Just stand here for a Klondike?
Uh-huh.
I don't have to act like a monkey.
Rich chocolate ice cream,
or hop like a frog ribbit.
smothered in milk chocolate.
Well, all right. For that chocolate-coated ice cream, loaded big and thick, no room for a stick. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Hi, hon. Oh, can I have one?
Oh, yeah, just stand right here.
And we're back. So we were talking about how Kirby Dreamland is kind of. I think it's
Nightmare in
the
Dreamland.
very first one, or Nightmare in Dreamland. It's one of the first games you can play as another, like as Meta Knight, right? I'm pretty sure because that's the
As player one probably.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one
because
because
like other
that
people
yeah
usually do. Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure that one was pretty popular. So I'm assuming Nintendo thought since they've made a game that is so popular because they were able to play as a different character, that they would just overkill, just do that overkill. pretty much.
Yeah, and like
With the recent games.
yeah, well, here's the thing, like A Nightmare in Dreamland came out during the same era as Mass Attack, Canvas Curse, and Epic Yarn, which are all incredibly unique Kirby games. Like they all have different gimmicks and mechanics and stuff,
Mhm.
and they're all very different from each other, which is great. That's all I want out of a Kirby game now. Because right now,
I
all
don't
we're
know
getting,
because I'm pretty sure isn't Epic Yarn like kind of failed? Didn't it fail? Like I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't know if it failed commercially, but it's critically a very good game, and I
Yeah,
agree.
I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the game.
But like that was the time, in my opinion, where the Kirby dev team were really like they were just like trying new stuff, and they did go
Yeah.
back to the Canvas Curse kind of style with
Mhm.
Rainbow Curse, I think it was called, on the Wii U, but nobody bought the Wii U, so who cares? But that was a very good game. But yeah, like I forget, it was like Triple Deluxe on the 3DS, and then there was Kirby Star
I think
Allies was the one on the Switch,
I
right?
think we have two different annoyances of this game. Like for you, it's the lack of uniqueness. For me, I'm okay with having the same kind of concept since
I'm fine with the
to
same
me.
concept. I just want like a different setting, you know?
Oh yeah, instead of Dreamland, you mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or if you're gonna
For
do
me,
Dreamland, like make it different, like make something happen
yeah,
under it,
like
you know?
yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because like in Epic Yarn, they do a completely like revamp of like
That's a
different.
different place. It's a different
Yeah, and I
planet.
actually really liked it that way because like you found like different worlds and like you operating in it is like different as well. So it was pretty cool.
Hmm.
That was really good. I really I like the style that they are like the gameplay where like Kirby the basic idea of Kirby can swallow another.
Oh yeah, yeah. That I'm fine with that. I have no
Yeah.
problem with that.
I like the side scroller thing as well. I don't really like that weird 3D thing they did with the robot one. You know what I'm
Oh, I
talking
forgot
about?
about that game. Forgot
Yeah,
that. That was the
they
one unique one during that time, but it wasn't that good, in my
no,
opinion.
because I didn't feel like it was like because you would have to bounce from the front like view to the background lane because there's like two lanes you can go in between.
Uh huh.
So then like like Kirby can go from the front lane and then the back lane he can go into like I don't know but it's hard to explain but if you look at it like you can see gameplay that they do that and I didn't like it because they wanted to kind of create depth in the game but it kind of just they didn't portray it that well. So
Right.
for me it's not about uniqueness as much as it needs to be more hard
Uh
because
huh.
like there are like obviously Kirby is a very kid friendly game like a lot of younger kids play it but a lot of the younger kids that played the original are older now and we want like I know some people don't play Kirby anymore and they're like yeah it's for kids but like I still like Kirby a lot especially like since it's been through my childhood it's kind of like how Pokemon people like have a nostalgia for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I want a hard game for the like Kirby. It'd be fun to play a hard game for it.
Right. No, I agree. And I get that that wouldn't be for everyone. Or if you want to do it, like if you want to make an easy game, do a new game plus mode where it's harder, like where you replay the
Yeah,
game, but it's just more difficult.
yeah.
Like games used to
Or
do that,
make
they
a
just don't do it
King
anymore.
DDD spin-off. Make a King DDD spin-off where I can play as him instead.
I mean, you could do that in Return to Dreamland if you're playing as player two, but
Nah,
whatever.
but I don't want to play as player two. I want that they should do that. Like make a Kirby game, but like you play as King DDD and you verse Kirby.
I don't think that would ever. Well, it wouldn't be a Kirby
Nah, I
game then.
mean
It could be in the same unit. Whatever.
Well, it can happen. I don't know. I like their mini games a lot more, to be honest.
Actually,
Like,
I always like the boss rushes or the race or whatever.
yeah. Oh yeah, the food
Gourmet
race where
race,
like
yeah.
gourmet race so good. I love I love that mini game. It's so fun. But yeah, that and I also would like to see more Zelda games, to be honest, because like actually playing the old one, the original Zelda, right? And like it really
Like the
reminds me of Breath of the
original,
yeah, the original,
the
the
86.
yeah,
Interesting.
the yeah. Um there's like an online thing where you can play it and it's a bit different actually.
Uh
But
huh.
yeah. Um I can see like why people really like the Zelda games, but to be honest, I feel like a lot of people were complaining about not having enough dungeons in the Breath of the Wild, and
Really?
that's why
Okay.
they are like hoping there's more dungeons in the second one.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I don't know. I'm not 100% into that like whole idea of like solely doing dungeons and all
Yeah,
that.
it's kind
To
of
me,
that ruins the spirit of Breath of the Wild, in my opinion.
yeah,
That game's
but
about
it also
exploration.
but it's also because Breath of the Wild is an anomaly to the Zelda series, right? Because Zelda isn't mostly about like dungeons and puzzle games.
Hmm.
Like, because now I've realized this. Because in the very beginning, the game was a lot like a good balance between puzzles and exploration. Because you didn't get a map, you just kind of wandered around and fight secrets and all that.
Right.
But now, like over the span of the Zelda's like evolution, it solely became this like a little bit of exploration, but a lot more dungeons. So a lot of people kind of get that synonymous meaning or like correlate Link or Zelda's game to dungeons more than it is exploration.
Yeah.
So I really,
Hmm.
yeah. So sorry for like
No,
taking
no,
up.
it's okay.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I like Breath of the Wild because I can explore and just screw around. I don't need to have that behind my head where like you need to get this item or you have to do this, right? I kind of like enjoying being a free spirit, just screwing around in the world and interacting with other things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because something like Ocarina of Time is very good. Is very, very good game. It's considered by many to be one of the greatest games of all time. But what it is, it's a campaign. It's you're following a set story that's been. And I know you technically are following a story in Breath of the Wild, but let's be honest, it's pretty loose. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, something like or Majora's Mask is a very story heavy game. Uh,
Yeah.
those games are story driven. It's like a campaign. You're going the one. It's not open world. That's that's the that's the end of
Yeah.
it. They're not open world games, which is fine. That's not what they were trying to do. But Breath of the Wild, that's exactly what they were trying to do, and they accomplished it brilliantly, in my opinion.
Hmm.
So I don't really get why people would want to, if they want to revert back to a campaign driven game, just don't make it the sequel to Breath of the Wild. You just make a new Zelda game that is more traditional.
Hmm.
That's fine. And if
Yeah.
you make it great, then it's going to be a good game. I don't care.
But I think it's also the timelines and all that because if
Well,
like
I know
I've
the
like
Zelda timeline is a mess, but
yeah. Um yeah, I get what you're saying. Like make a new timeline just in general for the OG Zelda players,
well, I'm not even
which
saying
makes
that.
sense.
I'm saying it like if they want to make a new, if like some if people who grew up with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess want a new Zelda game that's more akin to that, then ask for that. Don't ask for them to change what was good about Breath of the Wild because I don't necessarily think that the dungeons or the shrines were the best part of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't want more of that,
honest,
honestly.
yeah, because to me, puzzle games, yeah, they're great. But again, I'm not games for me personally. I like it when there's minimum of puzzle stuff. Like having puzzle games is cool because it's like, yeah, I felt accomplished. But I don't want a story like a heavy game just full of puzzles and dungeons. Like that's not why I liked Breath of the Wild. And I feel like the second one is going to be a lot more dungeon heavy because like I think you're underground when you're playing Link cuz like you see a lot of dark shots and like them with a torch
Uh
and
huh.
like surrounded by
Right.
walls.
Right in the
I feel like
trailer,
a
yeah.
lot. Yeah, so I feel like instead of like they should have made that into a separate game rather than like call it Breath of the Wild. Like they should have had it where it's like Zelda and Link still are on the overworld where like you can do open world, but they have to find a new undiscovered area where it's like dense with like jungle or whatever. Kind of like there was like a section in Breath of the Wild where you can go to that. It was like the jungle area. You remember what I'm talking about?
Uh huh.
Like they could have gone deeper in there because I'm pretty sure like a lot of like theorists or YouTubers from Breath of the Wild are assuming that they go into like this specific dungeon in that area to find, you know, that wrinkled ass Ganon, right? So I don't know. I felt like that should have been like one of the dungeons instead of having them like be in a giant dungeon in general.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
It's not
it's
Breath of the
entire.
Wild
It's
anymore.
honestly though. To be fair, we have not seen nearly enough of the game to make that kind of a judgment.
Hmm.
So
But
we
I
don't
think
know.
they said, I'm pretty sure the developer said that they were gonna put on heavy dark plots in the story,
I'm fine
and
with
I think
that, but like,
no, and I'm pretty sure they said more dungeons, but I'm not sure because it's like I don't like dungeons, dude. I'd rather be outside riding a horse and shooting random animals. I don't know. Then they shouldn't have even called it Breath of the Wild 2. They should have called it like the Breath of the fucking Dungeon. It's not wild anymore. You're in underground.
yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. I do hope that they at least talk about that game a lot more this year because I believe that they said it's going to come out in 2022. I don't know for sure,
I
but
hope. I mean, I'm still gonna buy it and see what it is. Like honestly, I'm not a very. I'm not a fan of those dark, like pitch black dungeons where you had to like go in with like a ton of fire arrows and just shoot in random places and
uh,
figure out where you are. I hated those ones because it's like, why? It's so artificial. It's like an artificial like. It's so forced to make it so like yeah, it's hard because you can't see. You know what I mean?
huh.
Like those types of like like sometimes it's fine, but like there's a lot of parts where you had to do that in Breath of the Wild, and I just felt like I don't see why you have to do this. It's more tedious than hard, right? Because like you're just shooting fire arrows, or like you get a fire stick that you just throw around so you can get like everything caught on fire so you can see.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's all I really have to say. I mean, I guess I mean, I'd like to see a new Pikmin game. That would be great. Maybe a new Donkey Kong Country or a different kind of
Oh
Donkey
yes,
Kong game.
please Donkey Kong game.
That would be
Dude,
cool.
yeah.
You know, if Star Fox could not suck, that would be cool. If F-Zero could come back from the dead, that would be cool. If those Metroid Prime games that they keep talking about could come back, that would be cool. You know, there's a lot of
revive
cool.
revive all the Nintendo game series
I mean,
again.
like
Just do it.
I from what I understand, I've listened to a bunch of stuff about F-Zero.
Mhm.
It's not happening. Um,
Yeah.
but like Metroid Prime 4 is supposed to be in development, so they haven't talked
I,
about it in a while.
I actually kind of want to play a Metro game. It's been a while
Should.
because it's like I played like Metroidvania games, and it's like I kind of want to play an actual Metroid game because like I played one when I was younger, and I never finished the game, and I don't know where that game is anymore. So it's like, and I'm way too lazy to buy a new one, so I just want to get a modern one and just play it.
I mean, I think the Metroid Prime trilogy is on the eShop, but yeah, a new one that isn't equivalent to Wii graphics would be cool. Like I said,
Yeah.
Pikmin 4, that would be epic.
They need to make a Wii Sports reboot.
Yeah, can we get? I don't understand why they didn't make Wii Sports just on them.
They should have just made that would be so funny if they just called it Wii Sports 2 and just put it on the Switch console.
Yeah,
That'd be fun. See people are sleeping on Wii Sports. Wii Sports was the best game on the Wii.
probably. I don't know. I think Mario Galaxy probably was, but
Yeah,
whatever.
no, yeah. Yeah. All right. I think we're good there, right? Or
I
do we
think
have more?
that's yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really have anything else to say.
Yeah, me neither.
Nintendo, get your act
Uh,
together this year. That's it.
just every game company, just get your freaking act straight. Just get. Can you stop making artificial demand? Just do it. Just make us interested rather than being like, oh, you can't have this until you show me that you really, really want it. Because I swear to you, Sony does not have like. because like I'm assuming they're just pretending like they don't have any PS5s. Like I'm pretty sure they just have like a ton of them
Well,
just stuck
no,
in
it's not
boxes.
that they don't have them. They have them. It's just that they're not producing enough. It's a
I
legitimate
feel like they
problem.
are. No, I feel like they are. I think they're just pretending that they're not.
I
Like
don't know.
just
I
to
mean, that's
make.
entirely possible because they do really. And here's the thing: their PS5 is like $500. So like
Yeah,
people who want it, they're gonna pay that much because they think that it's
worth it.
it's rare. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another story.
So, yeah, I wanted to. So this is section 3, or
Mm.
the segment where we talk about updates and talk to the audience directly. So we're really, really sorry because we said that we were going to definitely get a guest this week, but we forgot. Um, I'm gonna try to get another guest next week. And Minecraft episode 3 is coming out soon.
Yep.
Uh, yeah,
It's
that's
almost
gonna come.
done. It's
Yeah, it's
basically done.
almost done. It's yeah, dude. The editing is gonna take a day. Like you guys are gonna see this tomorrow. It's gonna be super chill.
It's really good.
But yeah, it's committed. I'm pretty sure Tyler. You said that's actually almost done, right?
It that is it will take a long time to keep editing, but
Mm,
if I actually get the encourage or not the encouragement, the will to do it again, because
yeah,
editing that does kind of hurt.
yeah, dude. Next week we have
Oh wait,
APs. Oh my
hold on. Oh,
god,
never mind. Oh shit.
dude. We have we have the AP exams this week or this coming week.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
yikes. So, yeah, we're gonna have to, do that. And my series is postponed because I forgot what I was gonna do, and now I have to find a new topic. I'm a very finicky person, so I gotta find one that I
Gotta
like.
get a hold of it, man.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's like I think it's a good idea one day, and I just go like, that's a dumb idea the other.
Oh,
Very
I know.
hard.
But here's the deal: you have to just do it, and then
Yeah.
you can determine if it's good or not. And you
Mhm.
have to make one to say, okay, yeah, that was good. I'm proud of that. Or my God, that's awful. Forget it.
Yeah. All right. You have anything else to say for the update
Not
section?
really.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching our episode. Subscribe and like this video, and please comment. I want comments because then we actually, get interaction from you guys. It makes me feel alive. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
See you guys then.